Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most tantalizing questions in all of cryptozoology. What if extinction isn't forever? Our planet's history is a graveyard of monstrous and magnificent beasts, known to us only through fossilized bones and petrified footprints. We accept that the megalodon, the titanoboa, and the giant moa are gone, consigned to the dusty pages of prehistory. But what if I told you that some of these creatures, these living nightmares and titans of a bygone era, never truly left? What if, in the deepest oceans, the most remote jungles, and the highest mountains, these extinct monsters are still hiding, just beyond the reach of our modern world? Legends and folklore from every corner of the globe are filled with descriptions of creatures that sound uncannily like animals science tells us died out millions of years ago. Sailors have long spoken of sea serpents with horse-like heads and massive, serpentine bodies. Indigenous tribes in the Congo Basin describe a creature lurking in the swamps that matches the description of a sauropod dinosaur. Are these just myths, creative explanations for natural phenomena, or are they fragmented memories, passed down through generations, of real-life encounters with prehistoric survivors? The line between myth and reality is often blurred, and in the shadows of our world, there are whispers that some ancient lifeforms have clung to existence. Today, we're counting down 10 extinct monsters that might still be alive. We'll sift through the evidence, from ancient texts to modern eyewitness accounts, and ask the ultimate question: could these creatures actually be real? Prepare to question everything you thought you knew about extinction. Number 10. The megalodon. Ancient texts don't mention megalodon by name, but tales of colossal sharks have haunted sailors for centuries. Pliny the Elder wrote of monstrous fish capable of swallowing ships whole. But the most compelling historical evidence comes from the sea floor itself. In 1875, the HMS Challenger dredged up megalodon teeth from the deep ocean that were later dated by some to be as recent as 11,000 years old. This finding sparked the idea that the giant shark might have survived past its accepted extinction date of 3.6 million years ago. Number 9. The Tasmanian tiger, or thylacine. Officially declared extinct in 1936 after the last known individual, Benjamin, died in captivity, the thylacine has become a symbol of modern extinction. However, historical accounts from the early 20th century are filled with sightings from farmers and outdoorsmen, who insisted the creature still roamed the wilds of Tasmania. These weren't ancient legends, but first-hand reports from the very people living in its habitat, creating a living folklore that persists to this day. Number 8. The moa. These giant, flightless birds of New Zealand were hunted to extinction by the Maori people around the year 1440. However, Maori oral traditions, passed down for generations, contain detailed descriptions of the moa and the hunts. Some early European explorers in the 19th century reported stories from Maori elders who claimed their own grandfathers had hunted the last of the giant birds, blurring the line between history and living memory. Number 7. The mokalembembe. This creature from the Congo River Basin is often described as a living dinosaur, specifically a sauropod. Local folklore is rich with tales of a large, semi-aquatic animal with a long neck and a powerful tail that overturns canoes and leaves massive, three-clawed footprints. Missionaries and explorers first reported these stories to the wider world in the early 20th century, sparking decades of expeditions. Number 6. The giant ground sloth, mapinguari. While the giant ground sloth, or Megatherium, is thought to have died out around 10,000 years ago, legends from the Amazon rainforest speak of a terrifying creature called the mapinguari. Indigenous tribes describe it as a large, foul-smelling beast with thick, matted fur, a terrifying roar, and a single eye, or a mouth on its stomach, a feature some have interpreted as the scent gland of a sloth. Number 5. The Steller's sea cow. Discovered by Europeans in 1741 and declared extinct just 27 years later in 1768, this massive, 10-ton marine mammal was an easy target for hunters. Yet long after its official extinction, fishermen and sailors in the Bering Sea continued to report sightings of enormous, slow-moving sea creatures that fit the description of the gentle giant, suggesting small, isolated populations may have survived. Number 4. The Japanese wolf. This creature, one of 2 extinct wolf subspecies from Japan, was officially declared extinct in 1905. Folklore, however, treated the wolf not as a pest, but as a spiritual protector of travelers. Shrines dedicated to the wolf spirit still exist, and tales persisted long after its supposed demise, with many mountain villagers claiming to hear its distinctive howl. Number 3. The Beiji or Yangtze River dolphin. This freshwater dolphin was declared functionally extinct in 2006 after an intensive survey of the Yangtze River failed to find a single one. Despite this, historical accounts from local fishermen describe the goddess of the Yangtze as a revered and common sight for centuries. Its recent disappearance makes any new sighting a powerful and potentially credible event. Number 2. The thunderbird. Native American legends across North America describe an enormous bird of prey capable of creating thunder with the beat of its wings and carrying away large animals, even children. These stories bear a striking resemblance to the teratorns, gigantic prehistoric birds with wingspans of up to 12 feet that went extinct at the end of the last ice age. Number 1. The woolly mammoth. These iconic Ice Age giants are known from countless frozen carcasses and ancient cave paintings. Prehistoric humans clearly lived alongside them. The fascinating part is how recent some of the evidence is. A population of mammoths on Rangel Island in the Arctic Ocean survived until about 4,000 years ago, meaning they were still alive while the pyramids of Giza were being built. Scientists are almost universally in agreement that Megalodon is extinct. The 3.6 million-year-old date is firm, and the idea of more recent teeth is largely debunked, with mineral crust analysis suggesting they are much older. The deep ocean is vast, but an apex predator the size of a school bus would leave evidence, bite marks on whales, for example, none of which has been found. As for the thylacine, scientists are more open. The remote wilderness of Tasmania could theoretically hide a small population. DNA from preserved specimens has been sequenced, and some scientists are even working on a de-extinction project to bring the species back. The moa's extinction is well documented through archaeological evidence of Maori hunting sites. Scientists believe the birds were simply too big, slow, and naive to survive human arrival. There's no credible scientific evidence they survived past the 15th century. The Mokalembembe is a biological puzzle. While the Congo is vast and underexplored, a creature the size of a sauropod would require a massive food source and a significant breeding population to survive, which scientists believe is highly improbable. Skeptics suggest sightings could be misidentifications of rhinos or elephants in water. The giant ground sloth theory is intriguing. Scientists like David Oren have hypothesized that the Mapinguari legend is a surviving memory of the megatherium. However, there is no physical evidence. The lack of bones, droppings, or any other trace makes it biologically unlikely. The Steller's sea cow, on the other hand, is a more plausible survivor. Given its remote habitat and the vastness of the northern Pacific, a small, undiscovered population is not entirely outside the realm of possibility, though most scientists believe it's gone for good. The Japanese wolf's survival is considered unlikely by mainstream science due to Japan's dense human population and developed landscape, which would make hiding difficult. The beige is a tragic case. Scientists hold out little hope, as its river habitat is heavily polluted and trafficked, making survival for a species so sensitive to noise and environmental change virtually impossible. For the thunderbird, paleontologists point to the fossil record. Teratorns and other giant birds definitely existed, but they died out with other megafauna around 12,000 years ago. Scientists suggest the myths could be a cultural memory of these real creatures, or misidentifications of large birds like the California condor. Finally, the woolly mammoth. While the Rangel Island population proves they survived much later than previously thought, scientists are certain they are now extinct. The Siberian permafrost is no longer a suitable habitat, and a creature that large would be easily spotted. Despite official declarations, the sightings continue. For Megalodon, unsubstantiated videos of giant sharks circulate online, but all have been debunked as either hoaxes or misidentifications of large great whites or basking sharks. The Discovery Channel's Megalodon. The Monster Shark Lives docufiction special in 2013 fueled public belief, but was widely criticized by scientists for presenting fiction as fact. The thylacine, however, is a different story. Since 1936, there have been thousands of reported sightings in Tasmania and even mainland Australia. Many are fleeting glimpses, but some include blurry photographs and videos. In 2017, trail cameras set by researchers captured images that were inconclusive but intriguing enough to keep the hunt alive. None have been confirmed, but the sheer volume of reports keeps the hope burning. Modern searches for the Mokalembembe have been mounted by cryptozoologists like Roy Mackal and Bill Gibbons. They have returned with footprint casts and anecdotal evidence from villagers, but no definitive proof. No clear photograph, no body, no DNA. Similarly, expeditions for the Mapinguari have yielded accounts of terrifying roars and strange tracks, but the creature itself remains elusive. A handful of unconfirmed sightings of the Steller's sea cow were reported by Russian fishermen into the 20th century, but none have occurred in recent decades. For the Japanese wolf, a 1996 photograph of a dog-like animal and recent audio recordings of howls have been presented as possible evidence, but scientists have dismissed them as belonging to feral dogs. In 2007, a Chinese photographer claimed to have captured a beige, but the footage was too blurry for positive identification. The most credible reports of thunderbirds come from the 19th century American West, with cowboys telling tales of shooting at massive, unidentifiable birds. But in the age of smartphones, the lack of any clear modern evidence is telling. So, what's the verdict? For creatures like the Megalodon and the Thunderbird, the case seems closed. The myths are likely born from a combination of ancient truths, real giant sharks and birds, and the human tendency to exaggerate. They are almost certainly not with us today. The Mokulembembe and Mapingari represent a fascinating intersection of folklore and paleontology. Are they living fossils? It's a romantic idea, but without a single bone or clear photo, the verdict has to be myth, likely a cultural memory of the megafauna that once shared their lands. The Beiji and the Steller's sea cow are tragic stories of modern extinction. While a tiny chance of survival exists, it's a hope that dwindles with each passing year. They are most likely gone, ghosts of a world we failed to protect. Then we have the woolly mammoth and the moa. They are undeniably extinct, but their relatively recent disappearance shows us just how quickly our world can change. Their stories are not of mystery, but of a tangible loss. This leaves us with the most compelling candidate, the thylacine. The consistent, credible sightings from a single, remote location, coupled with the fact it only went extinct within the last century, make it the most likely extinct monster to still be out there. The evidence isn't conclusive, but it's enough to suggest that maybe, just maybe, the Tasmanian tiger is still silently hunting in the shadows. But what do you think? Are any of these creatures still out there, waiting to be rediscovered? Or are they just stories we tell ourselves, echoes of a lost world? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more interesting videos.